there were two takeaways from my trip to space. The first one, was when we reached orbit, and it took us about an hour and a half for us to safe the vehicle, where I can take my seatbelt off and float. And I remember the first time I did that, I floated off my seat. The first thing I wanted to do was I wanted to head straight to the window, push myself against the wall, off the wall, and do my best Superman impersonation as you float, because that's what you get to do when you're up there. And I wanted to see the world from a perspective very few humans have had that privilege to do so, from the outside. And here I am thinking that there's only about 500 and some odd people out of 7 billion who's had that privilege of seeing the world from that perspective. And as I was going out there, and I was wondering, what am I going to see? What am I going to see? And weird things pop in your head. I remember what popped in my head was 5th grade, Miss Cotton's class, learning world geography. And how did you learn world geography? She would spin the political globe, point to a country, and you got to name the country and capital. And then she would spin it, name the country and capital, right? That's how we learned the word geography. And so as I was going through that went through my head. And obviously, I wasn't expecting to see the world in a political coloring scheme that I saw it on the globe. But I was expecting to be able to distinguish, kind of like the countries, And what astounded me was that we were flying over North America at the time. And I was able to see, what was Canada, the US, and Mexico. But what struck me as awe was that I couldn't tell where Canada ended and the US began. I couldn't tell where the US ended and Mexico began. And that's when I told myself, I said, wow, I had to go out of this world to get this aha moment that borders are human-made concepts designed to separate us. And how sad, I told myself. I said, man, I wish, at that moment I said, man, I wish we can get all our world leaders to be in the position I am right now, seeing what I'm seeing now. And I'll guarantee you that when they come back, our world will be a much better place than it is today. So that was the first aha moment I saw. The second aha moment I had was, you're up flying about 250 miles above Earth, orbiting the planet at 17,500 miles an hour. So that means you go around the world once every 90 minutes. Okay? What does that mean? You see a sunrise and a sunset. Every one of those two you'll see every 45 minutes, right? So I saw, I think, 217 sunrises and sunsets that I went through. I didn't see them all because I was busy working. But, there was times when you can go and see it. And I remember I said, I'm going to see a sunrise. I'm just going to take, 3 minutes out of my time, look out the window, and I want to be able to say, how we sit on the beach and you want to see a sunrise. I said, well, I want to see a sunrise from space so I could say I did it. And so I went and started watching. Here we are coming from the dark side, orbiting Earth. The sun's on the other side coming up. And so as we do this thing, well, you start seeing the crescent of the sun come out. And if you wait at the right moment, the sun's rays hit the Earth where you're actually able to see the thickness of our atmosphere. And man, boy, I tell you, I became an instant tree hugger. I became an instant environmentalist, because what I saw the atmosphere, but scary thin. It looked so thin, so fragile, that I immediately told myself, I said, the environmentalists are right. I said, this is a delicate, eco-balanced system that if we don't take care of it, we're going to reach to a point where there's going to be a runaway effect, and we may lose our atmosphere. The effects of the ozone layer that we're seeing right now, what's happening in the Amazon right now. All these things are things that are affecting us, and it's unfortunate that our current federal government, doesn't recognize that or dismisses it as a hoax. It's very unfortunate. I applaud people like Governor Newsom, who is moving forward with the emissions with the big four companies, and those are the things that need to happen. Yet the federal government is willing to relax that for the sake of making a buck, and that's just wrong. And so, but those are the things that I think came with me, that I came with a different perspective once I came back to Earth.